What's up? What's up? Happy Monday to everybody. Happy Monday, happy holiday week. Happy. First of all, before we even get into all of it that we about to get into, I just want to say that tonight we will be doing a Whether You Like It or Not panel. For Potomac, it will be at Josiah's house tonight. Y'all know I will share it on my channel. So y'all make sure that y'all head on over there. Okay. Now, y'all, let's get into this. So, Attorney Simone will be here. She was backstage. I think maybe I was I don't know, but she on her way. She just texted me. But we're gonna go ahead because I want to let her get into what she's gonna get into when we get here. Let me say hi to everybody. Now we are streaming on my channel as well as Girl Is That Legal channel. So if anybody is here from Girl Is That Legal, welcome. Y'all come on in, take a seat, have a good time. And for the people that are from ReallyBTV, y'all are streaming on Girl Is That Legal. Everybody say hi to each other in the chat. We one big happy family over here, okay? So let me say hi to everybody as I come through. Janae says, I've never been so pressed for you to go live. Girl, you know I was waiting. Oh, I was so mad I was at work because I was waiting. Hey, Lemon Kush. What's up, Sam J? Hey, D'Souza. Cams. Hey, my love. Ready for the rundown? This fool got arrested. I want to hear this one, child. What's up, Virgin Love? Quintessential Lyrics Mom. Can't wait to see Y4. Jules. Hey, Veronica. Chantel. What's up? What's up, my love? I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Creative Diva. Hey, Tracy Wilson. Not so dumb blonde. Well, I like that name. Not so dumb blonde. Okay. Really, BD, is this the same character who staged the robbery? Allegedly staged the robbery, but yeah, that's him, girl. Question really be, is the Fenty Beauty perfume good? I like it. If you like heavy scents, it's definitely a winter scent. It's definitely a heavy scent, but I like it. It has a lot of what is that? Oh shoot. Is it talum? Is it talum? I'll look it up, but it's I like it, but it's definitely a heavy scent. So, and it's like a spicy heavy scent. What is that oil? I'm gonna look up what it is, but it's real heavy in that that particular oil I'm trying to think of. But I like it. But it's definitely winter. It's definitely heavy. So if you like light scents, you may not like it. If you like lighter floral scents, it may not be for you. Hey, say Sam J, did I already speak? Hey, what's up, Auntie Trisha? I thought about you this weekend because whenever I'm down your neck of the woods, I always be thinking about you. I'll be like, I wonder if I'm gonna run into her down here somewhere. I was at the mall this weekend, and then I was at that Safeway. And I said, you always run into people at the Safeway. For some reason, you always run into people at the grocery store. What's up, Miss Baythang? Hey, what's up, Pat Pointer, Monique W. What's up, Ebbs? Hey, Southern Belle. Hey, Mia, what's going on? Tan, Miss Kiki. Snowstorm coming, so I just ordered a turkey avocado salad with a side of beef. Y'all getting snow tonight? Hey, Steph Beauty, this is a very good day and glad I work from home today. I screamed when I heard it. What's up? Keep it cute. Hey, Lady of Virtue. What's going on? Patchouli, thank you. That's exactly what I'm trying. Thank you. That's what I was trying. It's heavy. It's heavy with patchouli. So if you're not familiar with patchouli, go to any perfume, any mall or whatever, and ask them if you could smell a scent that has that's heavy with patchouli, and see if that's something you would like. But I like it. Like I said, I like it. On your way home from the chiropractor, what's up, girl? Let me know when you're ready to come up. You ready? Okay. What's up, girl?
Hey, girl.
Hey, I'm just going through the hellos and stuff. So let me finish saying hello to everybody.
Go for
Hey,
it.
Daniel. Hey, by the way, Monique Wilson is this pastor from New York City. Yeah, he's in New York. I was on a cruise ship watching this the show. I'm celebrating my birthday and Christmas. I know that's right. When you enjoy, you kick your feet up, girl. I'm thinking about doing a cruise. I don't know if I'm ready to get on the ship. I love cruises, but I don't know if I'm ready to do a cruise yet. But I'm thinking about doing one this summer. A friend of mine is doing one on Virgin, and they're like an all-adult cruise line, and I'm thinking about doing one on that. Because I know I don't feel like dealing with these churn. She said, "See, I'm not so dumb." Hence my name. Hey, Sharice, I'm almost done. Almost got a praise dance when I heard Lamore got arrested. Y'all are terrible. I like exotic musk and sandalwood. You'll probably like it, Monique. Go try it. You might like it because I like it, but it's definitely a winter. You don't want to wear that in the summer. It's definitely a winter scent. I think that's everybody. Anybody coming in late? Hello, hello, hello. Again, we are streaming on both platforms. So if you are here from Girl Is That Legal, welcome, welcome, welcome. And my Really Be people, y'all make sure y'all say hi to the y'all gonna say hi. Everybody say hi.
Everybody say hi. Everybody get acquainted. Yes.
That's right. Hey, Mr. Willie Brown, how you doing, love? So I had not gotten into anything yet. What I was gonna do was I was going to read the whole thing, but I was going to read that first part that sort of outlines it, and then I was going to let us just break it down.
Sounds like a plan.
So for those of you who have not heard, which it's 100 people in this room already, so I know y'all heard, Bishop Whitehead, who we have been following this case since the robbery went viral and the whole thing with Larry Reed. Y'all know I've been giving y'all his lives. We've been talking about the fashions. We've just been having a good time with Mr. Bishop Whitehead here, okay? But Larry Reed, back when all this stuff first happened, Larry Reed said, and this was back in what, August maybe? He said that the FBI was looking for him and that Bishop Whitehead would be in custody by the end of the year. He said that.
He said it.
Now, he tried to say a little bit earlier, but he definitely said by the end of the year. I want to say he said maybe even by, Halloween, Thanksgiving. So here we are a week away from, or 2 weeks away from the end of the year. And y'all, and this is how much I love y'all. Because when I tell y'all my phone started blowing up when I was at work, I was getting text messages. I was getting DMs. I was getting screenshots, okay? Bishop Lamore Whitehead was arrested today by the FBI. Now, we already talked about this, and especially the state of New York, the feds up, they don't play. They don't play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you, and I have it on my screen, but I'm going to read you the first part of, am I using the right language, Simone? The indictment? Is that what I'm
doing? Indictment. Yes, that is right.
I'm going to read you guys the first part of the indictment, which sort of breaks down what it is. This is the release, the statement that was released by the Department of Justice, by the U.S. Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York. It's a little lengthy, but I'm going to read it. Y'all stick with me, and then Simone is going to break everything down, and I'm going to put the indictment, the actual indictment up on the grand jury up on the screen.
Yeah, and if you have any questions as you're reading it, feel free to just ask it. I'll briefly explain, understanding. We're going to go into it later.
Yeah. We informal around here, so y'all let me know. Okay. Please hit that like button. It's 114 people in the room. Y'all know that the more likes, it triggers the notification. More people can come in and get this good information. Okay. U.S. Attorney announces arrest of Lamore Whitehead for fraud, extortion, and false statements. Damian Williams, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and Michael J. Driscoll, I hope I said his name right, Assistant Director in charge of the New York Field Office for the Federal Bureau of Investigations, announced today the unsealing of an indictment charging Lamore Whitehead with defrauding one of his parishioners out of part of her retirement savings, attempting to extort and defraud a businessman, and lying to the FBI. I want to put a pin in that real quick. Now they're just unsealing it. So does that mean that his attorneys have that he was already aware of this indictment or no? Okay,
No.
all right. The other thing is Larry Reed said that later on tonight, maybe the other person that's involved in this case may come on his channel to speak on it. He said that's the part that he was aware of, this businessman that was being alleged extorted. So he said now that his name is probably going to end up getting released, so he may come on Larry Reed's show tonight and tell and talk. I don't know, but Larry Reed said we're going to be shocked when we find out who this person is. Okay, let me finish reading. Hey Tabitha, my love, I haven't seen you in so long. Okay. Hold on, wait. See, that's why I can't stop reading because then I'll be forgetting where I am. Okay. Okay. Whitehead was arrested this morning and will be presented in federal court today before United States Magistrate Judge Gabriel W. Gronison. The case is assigned to U.S. State District Judge Lorna Schofield. Okay. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said, as we allege today, Lamar Whitehead abused the trust placed in him by a parishioner, bullied a businessman for $5,000, and then tried to defraud him of far more than that and lied to federal agents. His campaign of fraud and deceit stops now. FBI Assistant Director Driscoll said, as we allege today, Whitehead carried out several duplicitous schemes in order to receive funds from his victims. Additionally, when speaking with authorities, Whitehead consciously chose to mislead and lie to them. If you are willing to attempt to obtain funds through false promises or threats, the FBI will ensure that you are made to face the consequences for your actions in our criminal justice system. According to the indictment unsealed today in Manhattan federal court and publicly available, here's what he is being charged with. Lamar Whitehead believes a church in Brooklyn, New York, has engaged in a course of conduct in which he sought money and other things of value from victims and on the basis of either threats or false promises that the victims' investments would benefit the victims financially. First, Whitehead induced one of his parishioners to invest approximately $90,000 of her retirement savings with him, but instead spent that investment on luxury goods and other personal purposes. Second, Whitehead extorted a businessman for $5,000, then attempted to convince that same businessman to lend him $500,000 and give him a stake in certain real estate transactions in return for favorable actions from the New York City government, which Whitehead knew he could not obtain. Now that's where the mayor is gonna get in, but we'll come back to that. In addition, when speaking with FBI agents who were executing a search warrant, Whitehead falsely claimed that he had no cell phones other than the phone he was carrying, when in fact Whitehead owned a second phone, which he regularly used to communicate, including to send a text messaging describing it as my other phone. Shortly after telling the agents he had no other phone.
He's such a mess. He's such a clown. Like they're not the FBI.
All right, I'm almost done.
Like they're not the FBI.
Right. And I remember when Tasha K interviewed him, she said how he had 3 phones and how he had to keep stopping the interview to get on his different phones. She said he had 3 phones. And then Larry Reed said 3 months ago that the FBI had raided Lamar's house, and Lamar Whitehead, he emphatically said that was a lie and that the FBI had never been to his home. Matter of fact, I think he said that in an interview, either the interview with Fat Joe or another interview he did. He said, no, the FBI has never been to my house. Clearly, that's a lie. All right, y'all, I'm almost done. It's the last section. Whitehead, 45, of Paramus, New Jersey, is charged with 2 counts of wire fraud, each of which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. 1 count of extortion, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, and 1 count of making material false statements, which carries a maximum of 5 years in prison. So that's a maximum of 65 years in prison, y'all.
65.
The maximum 65. The maximum potential sentences are prescribed by Congress and provided. I ain't gonna read that. Mr. Williams praised the outstanding work of the FBI. The prosecution of this case is being handled by All right. The charges contained in this indictment are merely accusations, and the defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. His attorneys have already made a statement basically saying what we would expect. It's not true. We're going to prove innocent. We look forward to having our day in court, yada, yada, yada. Now, girl, where do you want to start?
Okay, I just want to say there are a lot of people, especially now that I've like been tweeting more about different cases, who's like, she don't know what she's talking about. She got her law degree from Instagram. Hey, I'm just trying to say, I am not wishing these things on people. I have just done this so long that I know it when I see it. So last week I was here and I said, can you still hear me good? Do I need to
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Last week I was here and I said the feds are coming from him. They do not like showboating people. And he already had the lawsuit over the 90K. But I had a feeling that even more was going to be involved because he's now owing all these people and all this is included. So first thing I wanted to start with is I'm going to be very interested in seeing how and or if Tasha K covers this. You know, because he used Tasha K to do a lot of his dirty work as it related to Larry Reed.
But she used him as well because this is my opinion. I believe Tasha K got him that information about those accusations, those tapes. Not that just but those tapes.
Yes.
I believe that. I believe they were in cahoots on him playing those tapes on his platform. Notice she didn't play them on her platform, but she picked up the story.
Right. So it'll be very interesting to see, is she going to cover it? If she covers it, is she going to claim this is some type of a collusion? You know, what is going to be her slant? And then I also want to see, how does Fat Joe respond? You know, we want to see how he responds because he lied to Fat Joe too. Now, I want to say this about the allegation. We'll start with the easiest one and then we'll go to kind of like my favorite. When I say my favorite, when I'm talking about any type of legal case, always what I mean is the most interesting, the most counterintuitive, that kind of thing. I don't mean I'm happy for this person. I would never be happy for what his family is about to go through. But starting with when you talk about lying to the feds, this is why you don't talk to them. Well, you know you've been out here doing dirt. That's what gets criminals in trouble. They think they're smarter than everybody else, right? So he went in here and he lied about something as simple as the number of phones. That's why in the indictment she just read, they talk about the number of phones. That's one of the lies that they're going to use. It's an insignificant lie. But I think what you just read, it said for that claim alone, he could get up to like 6 years or something goofy.
Yeah, it was like 5 years for just lying about how many phones he had. And again, but I think, and you're right. The problem was he probably ain't turn over that same.
Yeah, he's out here lying about stuff. He didn't need to lie.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can still hear you. But I was saying, he's out here lying about stuff he doesn't need to lie about. Is you either say, I'm going to talk to you with my lawyer,
you hear me?
or not. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I keep going in and out. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are going in and out. Let me know if I start doing the same. But then I wanted to talk to, so we've got, remember last week I called it on the old lady.
Okay, I'm going to go out and come back in. You keep talking. I'm going to go out.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I'm going to go out and come back in. You keep talking because I don't know if that's me or what.
Okay. Sounds good. With the claim with the elderly woman, that's the $90,000 claim, right? That was what opened it up. All he had to do was get his behind on some type of payment plan to pay this lady back. But because what he did is he took her whole savings and he used that and told her, I'm going to invest this into real estate, when really he used it to buy them ugly Chanel or Dior suits, Christian Dior suits, and his Rolls Royce and a bunch of other things.
The Fendi. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Fendi. He had the Fendi suit head to toe. These are the things that he was using the money for. And when you put yourself out in front of the public, you forget that the feds are watching. And ultimately, it all comes down to, if you're paying taxes on the amount of money that you're claiming, even if you don't actually have that money, but you're out of here paying taxes, they're not going to bother you. They're going to leave you alone. But of course, that's not what happened. And I want to get into the second claim, the extortion claim. Anybody have any ideas? I'd love to see, who do we think this person might be when they say we'll be surprised. Now, I don't think it's a politician, but I think he was probably leaning on his relationship with the mayor to extort this person. Yeah, let's go to that claim. He took that woman's entire savings. He sure did. Somebody said he's not the brightest. That's for sure. He's not. That's why he keeps going to jail. And
the thing is this. Right. And the thing is this, you know, the mayor started distancing himself from him months ago. And he even mentioned that a couple of times, how he can't get the mayor on the phone and the mayor won't even call him and yada yada. And I said, that should have been your first clue, bro.
Because the mayor is protecting coming down the pipeline. Right. Absolutely. And he has been trafficking in his relationship with the mayor. And let's just think about this, guys. Anyone who's just watched his stuff, he talks about the mayor and their friendship all the time. So if that's what he talks about on social media, I can only imagine how he discusses that relationship behind closed doors when he's in need of money. Because this is not a man who can or will just go into a bank to get a loan for his Rolls Royce and the different things that he's driving, right? Because we saw his church. That is not the church of, what do they call it? An abundance pastor? What do they call that?
Prosperity? Is it prosperity?
I'm a prosperity preacher, right? Because the church in itself isn't prosperous. Just looking at it.
No, not at all. It's no way.
Yes. But I first wanted to talk about how this may impact his defamation suits. So if I recall, he's got the one suit against Larry Reed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is against Miss Jones. Now with Miss Jones, she has already responded back. And like we said, she's responded with a motion to dismiss, where when she wins it, he's going to owe her attorney's fees. And I can guarantee those fees are going to be about $50,000. Okay. I could see his side trying to stay that lawsuit. What stay means is it says, hey, Your Honor, we have other legal matters pending that are more important than this one. So we ask that you don't make me respond to this one until we first resolve my other one. That happens a lot when there's criminal cases, because what you say in a civil case can be used against you in a criminal case. However, I don't think the judge should do that. The judge should go ahead and make him deal with the defamation suit so that he has to go ahead and pay old girl her fees. And if I was old girl, because remember, one of the claims is that you're a criminal. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Remember, one of the claims that was allegedly defamatory is that they said he was using the church to wash his money. That's what the indictment says. That's exactly what the charge is for money fraud, wire fraud. Let's go to that count. I think it's count 2. Scroll that up a little bit. Attempted wire fraud. If that girl don't walk into that courtroom and say, "Excuse me, Your Honor," I would come in there looking really cute. I don't talk like that in court, of course, but I would be like, "Excuse me, Your Honor. This is a supplement to my motion to dismiss. I also want to supplement the attorney's fees claim that I want, because the feds seem to be in agreement with me, Your Honor. Let's go ahead and wrap this up so he can go ahead and handle what he needs to handle with his criminal attorneys. Have a blessed day."
Right.
Because right here it's saying wire fraud, and it's effectively saying he used his church to scam this old lady out of the money, which was count 1, but also to wire and move and do other things with money, right? So while of course he's innocent until proven guilty, it certainly doesn't favor his defamation case, right? For that. Similarly with his claims against Larry Reed, he was claiming that Larry Reed was making up stuff against him, blah, blah, blah. No. So yeah, so in conclusion, if anybody has any questions about the defamation case, I sincerely think this is going to help the defendants in the defamation case. And he's going to try and kind of postpone or lollygag on the defamation case because he's trying to take all his little coins and put them towards helping him keep his behind from going back to his little jail celly. Somebody said wire fraud sounds like money laundering to me. It's right, what, and what. And here's the thing about defamation law. When it comes to defamation, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate. It just needs to be substantially true. So by her saying and let's start with this. She never actually said he was washing any money. She said former drug dealers that turn into pastors, one of the things that they do generally is use the church to funnel their money. Okay. And so, yes, that could totally fall into this claim. Someone says they have, somebody said, what did Bishop Robbery do now? Robbery, basically, just corporate robbery. So, and for those who are just joining us, he was arrested today for wire fraud and extortion, basically for convincing one of his parishioners to give her his entire savings, telling her it was going to be used for a real estate investment. But in reality, what he used the money for was to buy Rolls Royce, flashy cars, and bling bling.
And he was even arrogant about that because he talked about that on his live when people were like, well, why you would just give her money back? That's not how that works. This was an investment. She knew it was an investment. And I told them that they couldn't get their money back for however many months because it was an investment. But my thing is, once they, like you said, this woman actually filed paperwork, child, get that woman her money back. And if you don't have it, make a payment arrangement. Like,
that's all you got to do.
I don't know. Maybe it's an arrangement.
Sharice Woods has a great question. I don't know if you're able to pin it, Crystal, but her question.
I can pin it. Let me go back.
Yeah, it's at 526. There you go. I have a question for the attorney. What about his wife? Are they going to look into her as well? Great question. I'm glad you asked. That was on my agenda. Crystal, if you could go to the second to last page, the one that talks about asset forfeiture. So the answer is this. And I hate this level of injustice. Yep, it's going to be right after that section. It should be.
Assets provision, substitute of assets provision?
Just above
right above that. Okay.
Next, it has a little heading. There we go. Forfeiture allegation.
Okay.
There we go. All right. So here's what I don't like. It despises me. Like when you break the law, you break the law. But I really hate that it seems like when Black males break the law, they steal everything that from the family, all the assets from the family, even the wife. Whereas like with Madoff, remember Madoff who stole everybody's retirement and stuff. They let his wife, his wife pretty much got to continue in her luxury living, even though her comforts came from his theft. I'm gonna tell you right now what's about to happen is they're going to take everything from his wife and they're going to try to charge her too. That would be my guess. Because
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now you have there's a spousal immunity. When you're married to someone, they can't make one person testify against another. That is an immunity that just comes with being married. But they are going to try and look for anything that says that she was aware he was doing these schemes. Now, as the current indictment is written, she's not referenced anywhere. But what I do anticipate what's going to happen. So let me clarify. Right now, they don't have enough to charge her criminally. So I do not think she's going to get criminally charged at this point with the way the indictment was written. But what they are going to do is they're going to seize all his assets and her assets. So she is about to be broke. They have already, if not seized any bank account with his name on it.
They probably froze everything, right?
Yeah. They freeze all the accounts. And ladies, so what this means is anybody out there dating one of them real sexy drug dealers, rethink that. They love having your name on a bank account instead of theirs or with theirs. As long as his name is on an account, they're going to seize it. Or if it's her name and they think that he's transferred funds into it, they're still seizing it.
And Larry Reed said that he told her, he said that he sent information, he sent a message through a mutual friend, somebody that he knows that knows her, and said, disentangle yourself. Because allegedly she had actually left him over the summer, allegedly. And I guess at some point they reconciled and she moved back home. But Larry Reed says that he told her, because he said he had this information that he was being investigated. He said that he told her, untangle all your bank accounts, separate your money, like get your, because it's coming. He said he told her it's coming.
Yes, and I want to let you guys know this asset forfeiture law with the feds, it is so serious, because even if you're innocent, what sucks about this is the Supreme Court recently made a ruling that in effect says, even if they seize your stuff and they sell it and ultimately you're found innocent, there's nothing that can be done. They don't owe you no money, nada. So if anybody wants a Christian Dior suit or a new Fendi suit, you want to pay attention to the regional federal auction that takes place in New York, because they're getting his suits. They're getting all of that. And if you want to consider it the Lord's work, they're going to sell all that to give the old lady back.
And lady her money back.
They're going to give her retirement back.
I should be petty and buy one of his suits.
I would love to. I'm sorry to his wife, but ma'am, I seen one of them purses you had on you at church one of them days, and I'm gonna have to own your purse. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, but you ladies, we know they're real, or do we?
I'm about to say, we don't know hers are real because all of his stuff ain't real.
Oh, yeah. Now, also, y'all, I was surprised that there was in the indictment, and we both read the whole thing, there was no reference to his robbery. So I want to be clear. Pumpkin, I'm on my live. Oh, I live with a man, y'all. Okay. I want to be clear that there was no reference to his robbery at the church. So there's no allegation that there was insurance fraud there or anything like that at this point. The lies, funny enough, are really the lies that they're claiming are part of the indictment are really just him lying about the cell phone at this point. I'm sure they're going to get more later.
Mm-hmm. And so my question to you is this: based on what because like you said, we both read it. Based on what we read, it seems like this would have happened regardless of that robbery.
Absolutely.
This was something that was already going on.
Well, okay. So what I think is this, though. I think the robbery brought so many eyes on him.
Oh,
that they decided to make him it was a worthwhile target. See, it doesn't look good when the feds start bothering pastors who are minding their business. But once he decided to make his life and himself a circus and talk about how much money he had here and how much money he had there, then it became an issue. And then also, here's what really did it. It was bribing that businessman.
Yeah.
That didn't happen till this summer. That happened, I think, let me look at it again.
Oh.
It's paragraph 3.
Okay, where you want me to scroll to?
It says, paragraph number 3, it says, in or about April and May of 2022, he attempted to convince a businessman, victim number 2. Basically, he extorted the businessman.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It says April or May of 2022. May of 2022 was when the robbery happened, I believe. But but whatever month it was, all of these things were new things that happened, this summer. So I believe that when you get these extra eyes on you, it makes the feds want to pull your case to the top, because they like having public cases where people are already saying, I think this person's a crook. They're going to look at your case before they look at a nobody's.
Right. Because Larry Reed already knew the minute, when all this stuff first happened, the minute his church was robbed and Larry Reed was clowning him. And then, they had that fallout on the live where he called that woman out her name and he called Larry Reed the F word and all of that. It was within those couple of weeks when Larry Reed knew about that woman. He knew about the $90,000 then, about that woman then. And he even said, and there's more to it. So whatever was going on now, how Larry knew, child, I don't know, but that ain't my business either. But Larry knew.
He did. He did. Now, Tracy Chappell asked, do I think the IRS is coming? Oh, honey, absolutely.
Absolutely, they coming. Oh,
Absolutely.
the IRS is coming.
And let me tell you
And I'm
this.
gonna
I
be
was
honest with you. I
actually
think he got PPP loans. I'm not. I wouldn't be
oh,
surprised to hear about
yes.
PPP loans.
All of the above. And let me tell
That's
you
what
one
I
thing
thought
about
they
the
was gonna
IRS.
get him on. I thought that's what was coming for him. I really did. I said, I know this man got PPP loans, and they coming.
And it will
That's
be.
what I thought they were coming.
It will be. But the PPP loans are actually they're difficult to get you on unless you are lying about your number of employees. I helped I helped people receive over $3 million in PPP loans, which is a lot of money because I only represented people who had no employees. I chose to do that because I knew those were some of the people who were the most in need, but the most fearful of how to do it. And we did it legally. Don't you come
Right.
over here lying, trying to say your independent contractor is your employee. No, what I did was we structured it under the law, which is no, you are your own employee and you are welcome to give my number to your independent contractor and I will let them know how much
Right.
they qualify for and we'll do it that way. If you do that, there's nothing because it was made for the people who are self-employed to have an option to get support too. It's where people got greedy and start lying. And with his, he has the church. So when you ask the IRS wants their sharing, is the IRS coming? Yes. Let me tell you, there's a little known law that I've practiced under. It's called Quitam law. It's spelled Quitam. If you have ever worked or if you're working for any type of entity that either deals with governmental funds like Medicare, that kind of thing, or nonprofits, right? Who, because they're nonprofits, don't have to pay federal taxes. There is this law, it's a whistleblower law. So basically, how the law works is if you call the feds or the IRS and you say, hey, I think my employer is defrauding you guys of money. I've got some information I want to share with you. And then if the government is able to recover money, you get 30% of what they get back.
I think I've heard that before.
30%. And it pays for your attorney's fees if you have to have an attorney to kind of represent your interests, blah, blah, blah. So that's one of the reasons that a dime frequently will get dropped on the IRS when it's a nonprofit. So it could be someone within his church who was saying like, look, he done did this to this lady. And any 30% of whatever money the government is able to get back from him, they get in their pocket as a reward.
I've heard of that before. I don't know in what context, but I've heard that before. Now, Ebby said nobody checked the PPP list. His name was on it. Remember when all that was going on? But just because your name is on the list doesn't mean it's fraudulent. A lot of people got legit PPP loans. So his name is on the list. It's not under, it's under a corporate, like people had to look for it. It's there.
Yeah. I'll take a look at it because I actually was helping a single mom whose ex-boyfriend child's father was lying about his income. Girl, and she was like, the court has set it at the absolute minimum. He was paying like $400 a month or $300, something crazy. I said, girl, what's his name? And then I said, what's his LLC? I put it on there. Not only did I found the PPP amount that he got, which was 21,000, but it specifically said number of employees one meant he was his only employee. So he couldn't act like he shared that money. And more than that, the way PPP is calculated, that means he is swearing under penalty of perjury. He earned at least $130,000 that year or more.
Girl.
Get your paper into the courthouse.
Now let me take a pause. I'm gonna take a pause for the cause, but before we move forward, I'm gonna take a pause for the cause. It's 203 people in the room. Please and thank you. Whether you are on my side or Girl Is That Legal side, please hit the like button. And welcome to the Girl Is That Legal crew. What you call your people, Simone?
The jury. The jury.
Well, welcome to all the jury members, okay? And my tribe is here. Like I said, y'all say hi to each other down in the chat. Yeah. Now, there are 204 people in the room. I just said that part, dang, and I lost it. But I want to say this, and Simone said this at the beginning of this live, but I want to say this, and this goes for all the people who leave comments in my comment section after these videos go up. This ain't for the people that's in the chat right now, because y'all say what y'all got to say. But this for all the people who come back later and be trying to talk about my attorney don't know what she's talking about, and that's not right, and she's giving bad false information. I need y'all to know that we've been doing this for about 3 months now, and everything that she had. We started with the Wendy Williams so this has been longer than 3 months. We started with Wendy Williams' money got frozen. Everything that Simone has said has come to pass. Now, you don't have to like her delivery, but baby, you're not going to question the information, okay? Because
and I'm one of those attorneys. Yeah, I was gonna say, if I don't know, I can let you know who can give you the answer.
Right, exactly. So she definitely, we talked about this, and she called it. She said that the feds don't like the flashy. She said that they don't like the braggadocious. And then somebody talked about the press conference he did a couple of months ago when they finally arrested 2 of the guys that allegedly robbed him, and they talked about how he was kind of throwing jabs at the NYPD and throwing jabs at the mayor or whatever. But the reality is they were already looking at him. Like, I mean, that might have been fuel and incentive, but he was already under investigation at that point. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about one of the things that was in the indictment was that he promised the woman with the 90, and then we're gonna move on. I'm just gonna say this last thing about the $90,000, and we're gonna move on to this business owner. He promised the woman with the $90,000 that he was supposed to be helping her get a house. Now, that's not what he said. He said it was an investment group, and that part of the criteria was that the money had to be in the investment for a certain amount of time, and that was the agreement. And that's why he kept saying, I don't owe this woman any money. But according to the indictment, that $90,000 was supposed to go towards helping her purchase property, and that never happened.
I believe it. Yeah. Okay. And that would be consistent, because from the indictment they tracked how he did spend the money, and what they were able to determine is he spent it on himself. So if that's what it was, it has to sit in this account for a period, and those are some legitimate investments. If there's anyone who wants to do one of those investments, let me know. I use a company actually, and this I don't get paid for this, called Quest IRA. How it works, and this is how my parents built up their retirement, and they've got like 8 rental properties now, is you can use you move money into an IRA, which then lets you invest into real estate. So if she was going to do that, or if that's what he had told her, she would have never had to take it out of the bank and hand it to him. It could have been done through an IRA company like that. But more than that, he would have been able to show the feds, hey, it went from here to this account, and it's sitting here garnering the interest that we said it needed before it can be invested. He doesn't have those documents because he didn't do that.
He didn't do it. Oh, Tracy, that's a good point. Tracy said, so now we add in, she said he pulled a Jen Shaw and scammed old people, but that's another level of a charge, is when there's elderly involved.
Yes, elderly abuse.
They call them the unprotected class, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not unprotected, but
pertains to a more vulnerable group.
Class when you're over a certain age.
Somebody said no more services business at the church storefront, huh? No. And let's remember, he didn't own that storefront, he rented it. And remember, he was saying he wasn't doing any more services there. He tried to claim he wasn't doing any more services there because he felt it was unsafe. When in reality, there are no more services there because you don't own it. And they probably said, we tired of your shenanigans. And
they put him out. They told him after that last incident, they were like, nah.
There we go.
Done. And because of what happened, there were too many people just showing up, and it was all on the news and social media, and they were like, nah. You know, they stopped him from coming. Vulnerable class. Thank you. Thank you, yes. Barney. That is the word I was looking for. Vulnerable class. Yes. So let me tell y'all something. And this, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, Sharice Woods asked a great question, which was, so did the lady or the family try to sue him for the $90K? To be clear, yes. That is a case that is currently pending in civil court. And so I was very surprised, but happy to see that the feds picked it up, because a lot of times what happens is if it had been as simple of, hey, this is a business investment that just hasn't become lucrative yet. The feds won't pick it up. That's a civil matter. That's a debt collection matter. But because they saw that there was actual fraud involved and that this person was of a vulnerable class, that likely prompted them to look further into this. Because again, he's also filing or having some issues with other real estate that he's related to, I believe, that he's either behind on.
That apartment building up in Connecticut.
There we go. Now that's what I thought was going to trigger some issues, because my expectation is that that apartment building was purchased with some form of a mortgage. When you get a mortgage, then you trigger government oversight. Because unless it's just like a hard money lender, which is basically an individual or an individual company that's giving you that money, if it's in any way a mortgage that's federally backed and you lie about your income to get that loan, they on your behind and they not letting up until somebody goes to jail, because that's how we had our last economic crisis.
Well, allegedly he's in right now he's actually in the process of going through a default. He's in court for that. He went to court. Pam is that legal covered it maybe about a month and a half. I think it was like right before Halloween. And the judge gave him an extra like 30 days to provide some paperwork or do something or another. But he tried to say that he was never charged, yet the process server described his wife to a T, even down to the blonde hair. Like, ain't too many black women answering your door with blonde hair, sir. Like, it was either her or the maid. Like, I don't know what other women are answering your front door.
Or your girlfriend Becky. Which one?
Right, or the other
and
one.
I don't think you have a Becky girlfriend.
Right. Okay. So that's the $90,000. So now let's look at this businessman. Now this, I think, this is me deducing what Larry Reed said, because Larry Reed said that the other case is somebody, he said, I might get him to come on the show, or them to come on the show, because their name is going to be out there now because of this indictment, and they might as well come on and sort of, their name is going to be out there anyway. And he said it's going to probably surprise y'all who it is. So I feel like this is somebody that they may not be prominent, but they may be somebody that through the church world or something like that this happened to, a business, because we know it's not like a celebrity or something, but it's somebody that probably you might know, like, they sell luxury vehicles and they're like the man in New York or something. It may be somebody like that. I don't know. But he said that he may be able to get them to come on his show. Now, what happened was, in the indictment, Bishop Whitehead got $5,000 from them. He extorted. Then he extorted or he borrowed?
He borrowed the $5,000 and then tried to extort him out of $500,000.
$500,000 with the promise that he could get him government leniency and stuff like that. And again, yes. I am sure, and this is me, but I am sure. What's up, Retro? I am sure that he leveraged his relationship with the mayor and had somebody thinking that he could do something for them, because he's got all these pictures of him and the mayor walking around New York and campaigning together. And remember, the mayor endorsed him for bureau president and all of that. I'm sure that the average person would think, oh, he maybe he's in good with the mayor. Maybe he can help me out. And that, and I think, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that's part of what did him in, because
you are 1,000% right, and that is exactly what happened.
Yeah, the mayor ain't going down for him.
Yeah, you're right. And ultimately, I think that was the icing on the cake. They were probably already looking into him for defrauding the elderly lady. But New York doesn't play and can't play as it relates to bribery, because this is the home of the mob, in America. If they allow that stuff to persist without very publicly coming down on that, it's going to grow, it's going to foster, and it's going to get worse. And I can guarantee you, behind the scenes, the mayor was at the forefront of, go get that, go get him. Oh no, go get it. Because naturally, he wants to be able to protect his image and, an additional term. So I can't even blame him, because he was like, what you're not going to do, like, look, man, he probably already felt like, look, I really didn't know you. I endorsed you for this position. I had to kind of step out because as the mayor, it's not really fair for me to, to get too involved in local borough politics, because I remember Whitehead kind of complaining that, the mayor has now kind of been standoffish or hadn't communicated with him as much as Whitehead would have liked. But like I said, Whitehead was touting his relationship from the mayor. He would tout it with his interview with Fat Joe and
Everybody, yeah.
everybody. So if that's what he's doing on social media, I can just imagine when he gets you in a corner and be like, hey, there's no way that you are going to get looked at for this contract, for this deal, unless you got somebody on your team. And so, look, you do me this favor, I'm going to do you that. He is basically, what was Lorenz Tate? Lorenz Tate in Power.
Oh, on Power?
Yes, that's corrupt. Yeah. That corrupt guy.
What was his name on Power? Oh, I can't remember his name now.
I can't either. But what makes it even worse is people are accustomed to dealing with that from present politicians, like active city councilmen. But it's even worse when it's a pastor. If you don't go tend to your flock and leave us alone, like, get out of here, King. Not King, sir.
Please hit the like button, and please make sure you are subscribed to Girl Is That Legal Tate. That was it. He was Tate.
Yes, Tate. And let me be very clear with this, y'all. At first, I was like, gosh, these seem like some really severe charges for lying about a cell phone, a $5,000 loan, and the third thing was what ordinarily would be seen as a $90,000 civil case. Usually it would just be considered debt collection. So that says to me that there is probably a bigger issue stemming, and they want to use him and his indictment as part of some bigger issue. I don't know what it is. It could be the extortion issue, and perhaps it's related to a project that multiple people have been involved in. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to sitting back and watching, because this is a one piece in a bigger thing, because they just usually don't care about stuff like this. But also, I want to say this about the third count, which involves the $5,000 from the businessman. Okay. Do not think that they are going to treat it as a small factor because it's only $5,000. Because the truth of the matter is he was trying to get this man for $500,000. So he got the man to give him a $5,000 loan. In reading the indictment, it specifically says that the police told him to give that $5,000. Basically, not setting him up, but like when you want to prove a conspiracy, you have to.
Yeah, that's what they said. The police told him to go ahead and give the man the money. Yep, that's right.
Yep. So that means the police reimbursed him. See, remember I talked about civil asset forfeiture? Civil asset forfeiture includes if they search your house and they find a whole bunch of money in a safe. They take all $200,000. And then you got to fight and prove and show you paid your tax returns to show exactly where that $200K came from. Or they keep it in a vault and they use the money for situations like this, where they need the money to exchange hands.
I'm sorry, because I think I have a delay. I didn't mean to talk over you. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
I think that's the case that might have done it. And I'm going to tell you why I think that's the case that might have done it. I think that's the case that might have done it because, now this is my conspiracy theory, so this is me. Y'all work with me on this one. I think this is the case that did it because it involves the extortion, the potential extortion, and it's connected to that city, to the mayor. Potentially. We're talking about city officials.
You're right.
And either A, they're already looking at the mayor, or B, somebody said, wait, this dude said that the mayor is taking bribes. And the mayor had to be like, whoa, no, I'm not. And because for them to say that they told him to go on with the deal, that means that this person was already in contact with the feds before that second part of the deal happened. You see what I'm saying?
That is correct.
Now, this might be my conspiracy theory, but because to me, like you said, that $90,000, that's our support. The feds don't usually pick up nothing like that unless they're trying to pile on.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, I hate to say this about us because the prosecutor, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District, New York, is a Black man, Damian Williams. It's the first time in the history of the Southern District, New York, that it is run by a Black man. I can't tell you how huge that is, but it's big. But I will say they really don't care about what looks like anything that looks like a civil dispute, like the house situation. And they really don't care when it's
Exactly.
us versus us. I have to say it.
And
They
that's why I
really don't
said I
care.
don't think this had nothing to do with. I think that lady, that woman is going to luck up, and her case is
Yes,
going to be adjudicated. She going to
yes,
luck up, but I do not think that portray that was she going to be a positive casualty of war.
yeah. I think you're right, and I think that we could find that they are looking into um, corruption and bribery with respect to the mayor. It may be a larger investigation into the mayor. And because what do? They use the small chips to get the
To get
big
to the
chip.
big
They use
one.
the small fish to get to the big fish,
Now
right?
I
And
would. Now
we
you know
know,
what? I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna say this: if there was any impropriety with the mayor and Big Whitehead had any knowledge of it or any parts of it, baby, he about to be Mississippi Mass Choir down to them FBI headquarters. 65 years? He facing
King
65 years? Oh, hell
Jesus.
no.
He's singing. He's singing.
Me, 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 me.
Jesus. You know how he always talks about his wife and my 3-month daughter. My 3-month daughter. He talks about her every time. He's like, I had to tell. I had to snitch because of my 3-month daughter.
I'm telling you,
Sir,
I
I
can
don't
hear
blame
it.
you.
I could hear it.
I
And
don't
the
blame
other
you.
and honestly, I would not be surprised if they were, because listen, let's say this. I've heard rumblings about this mayor and questions about this things with this mayor. I don't know about you, but I have. I'm not saying that the mayor didn't like he guilty of anything, but whenever you have a black man ascend to that level of power, I mean, New York City is what, the third largest city in the country.
Yes.
Uh you're gonna have all eyes on you, and all your T's need to be crossed and your I's dotted. And I've heard rumblings. Like I said, I'm not saying this man did anything he's supposed to do, but I heard rumblings that, so I would not be surprised if they were looking at the mayor and skip and tripped over this.
I 1,000% believe because the other, like, putting in he lied to the cops by, lying about the number of cell phones. When I tell you that's like the pettiest stuff I've ever read in an indictment
That is
for the
so
Fed.
petty.
It's so petty. It's so petty, right? So I say that to say, like, it's clear those weren't, but they have to put it all in there to force his hand, especially if the goal is to get him to tell on a bigger fish. You have to have headlines like the one they have at the end of the indictment, which says he's facing 65 years. You need those headlines to push him in a corner to spill all of the beans. Also, let me be very clear. Although he received 5,000, keep in mind, he was trying to get 500,000. That's big because we know just as well as that
Right, right.
businessman
And
knew.
that's a lie.
When that businessman gave him that 500, he wasn't gonna see nothing back. He wasn't getting near it. He wasn't gonna get a $2 bill. He was
No.
not going to be paid back because the man doesn't have the ability to do so.
So how does the fact that he's
So
a convicted felon for fraud, how does that play into bail and all of that, those
great,
considerations?
great question. His bail is going to be set much higher. So what happens is there's like bail guidelines effectively. And by you being a one-time prior felon, 2, 3, depending on that, they increase your level of bail if you have a current case pending. So what they're going to consider with his bail is the fact that he's got pending charges for civil fraudulent behavior in the civil courts, including, that he's defaulting on that rental property, and the fact that he's a felon for fraud crimes. If I remember reading his indictment paperwork previously, they generally have conditions that you're not supposed to even be dealing with money for a certain time period or money under certain
Right.
circumstances. I don't remember seeing
Like
that in
I
his
know he couldn't be a
paperwork.
real estate agent. He
That's what
couldn't
it was.
get his real estate. Like he was a go-to. Right. He's a good person. He wasn't an actual real estate. Uh-oh. Is that me or her?
I'm
Okay.
good.
He wasn't an actual real estate. This stream y'all tripping again.
Mhm.
All right,
But
you
I hear
good?
you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's definitely part of it too. Okay, I can hear
Yeah,
you too now. Okay,
and
good. But yeah, that was part
effectively,
of it. He because he was a convicted felon, he could not be a real estate agent.
yep, in California. And effectively, what he was doing for the elderly lady was being a real estate agent. He said, "You give me $90,000, I will get you a home." That is no different than what a realtor does. So
Mm.
that could potentially be an issue. Now, I'm assuming he's no longer on parole, but if he were on probation or parole, that could be considered a violation. Um, because that's one of the stipulations of what you can't do or what you're not supposed to do. Somebody said, Alexa, like, locked up, don't let me out.
You won't let me
Don't let
out.
me out. Yeah, he's gonna go. So I think what I would guess, just this is like just a guess based on this. I anticipate he's gonna sing to the birds, and he'll probably do about 2 years, unless more stuff comes out. He'll sing to the birds, have to do about 2 years, and come on out. But I think it's gonna be that bribery stuff because in the end, he tried to get $500,000 out of it. Ignore the five
And that's
thousand
a
that he
lot of
got.
money.
500K, that's a whole lot of
Hmm.
money because we all know that man wouldn't have seen none of that money back. He would have been in court with him just like
Never,
all the other
never.
people. The person for 90, the person for this, the person for that. And what it just doesn't make sense to me that this guy didn't think any of this was gonna catch up with him. Like you're on the internet in these cars, in these places. Allegedly, he lives in a very expensive home, and you think, boy, no. Just stupid.
That's that
Stupid.
level of
Little
narcissism because Larry Reed was saying he was like he gonna probably post bail, and the first thing he gonna do is jump on Instagram, and I believe it. I believe that he's gonna feel like he has to come down. Now I know the attorney don't want him to say nothing, but I bet you he will.
yeah. And it's probably it very well it may end up in there being a gag order. But that'll be interesting because a lot of times what happens is it's the defendant who wants a gag order so people can't talk crap about them, because a lot of times the prosecution wants you to talk because the more you talk, the more you spill your beans. Like in the Tory Lanez trial, how the current defense theory is that Kelsey shot Meg, but then there's a social media tweet allegedly from Tory's account that says where someone said Kelsey did it, and his response is no, she didn't. So the more a defendant talks, the better it actually is. What about the loan for the apartment building?
Yeah,
Isn't he going to be in trouble about that too? I believe so. And what I was saying is, I think when they do discovery, they're going to discover he lied about his income to qualify for the apartment building. So if he got any type of a loan, a mortgage, you have that's like federally backed in some capacity, then you have to be honest about your income. And he ain't got none. Because I know for a fact the income he tells the IRS he earns, mind you, the church is nonprofit. The income he pays taxes on and the income that he puts on any paperwork to get a property ain't gonna be the same. Mm-mm.
yeah, and remember, y'all,
Mm-hmm.
he's already in litigation over that apartment building anyway. Again, I'm a director. The Pam channel. She did a
Yeah.
video. If you go back to maybe early October, when Pam she reads through the documents, it was a little complicated because it was very legal, but she summed it up, and essentially what happened was because Bishop Whitehead was trying to say he was never served, and the process server was like, I served, but they didn't get a person's name, because who asks for names? They give you the paper and they walk off. So they don't, and he didn't have a picture or anything, but he described the wife. But the wife testified, whether she was lying or not, the wife testified that it wasn't her, that she never got the paperwork. So because the judge said, okay, fine, we're going to give you 30 days to do whatever. So they're supposed to actually go back to court. If that was in October, they're supposed to actually be going back to court soon.
Yeah.
And I know that he's been doing work, because part of it was, he was being accused of being a slumlord, and that he's been doing work on those buildings. He's been posting, he's been posting on Instagram that he's been doing work on the buildings. So it'll be interesting to see how that will play in, because I think the question is going to be, where did the money come from for you to put the down payment on the loan to get, because I think it's the $5 million, I think, is the price of the
here's what
property.
We know it didn't come from that lady and her 90K, because if it had, she wouldn't be suing. She wouldn't be suing, because all she was expecting is that you would take my 90 and put it towards a real estate investment. Because remember, that's what he's saying that he does.
Right.
But to clearly answer, Woo Child, to answer your question, which was, so is it included in the indictment? No, it's not. There is no mention of the apartment building and the money owed for that. My guess is that they are probably working to subpoena those records from whoever gave him the money for that apartment building. And once they get those records, which then shows what he claimed. Now, if he went to what's called a hard money lender, a hard money lender could literally be your rich uncle who says, all right, you want to buy a house? I got this money over here in the bank. I will lend it to you under those terms. If you went to someone like that, it likely won't go under federal law, because that's more of a business to business transaction that doesn't involve federal mortgage fraud. But if it is any type of a mortgage that is backed by federal money, or even a tax subsidy from New York City or any of that, he's in a world of trouble. Yes. Oh, and I wanted to clarify, someone had asked regarding the $90,000 loan with the old lady in her retirement. They said, does she have a contract or paperwork? Okay, I want to clarify. I don't know that she does. I haven't read her petition at all. However, be very clear. If someone defrauds you and you don't have a contract, you can still sue. Here's why. There's a thing under the law that's called performance, right? So yes, you always want to get your contract in writing, but even if you don't have one, there's this law that protects you, because they use it to take advantage of people, which is this. They can assume a contract exists based on people's conduct. So if you sue saying, he told me if I gave him $90,000, he would invest in real estate, I gave him the $90,000, the court will assume there's a contract, because you did what? You performed. And so did he. He took your money, you gave him your money. So I hope that makes sense for some people. So if you have a loved one out there who felt they're defrauded from some money but didn't have a contract, don't you sit there and be like, well, I didn't have a contract, I can't get my money back. Yes, you can. If you did everything on your side that they verbally told you to do, and it's a matter of them not doing theirs, then you would go to court and the judge would determine what's fair. So you mentioned bail. He can bail out.
Okay.
Who is Mrs. Anderson?
Yeah, that's mayor. So that's coming from, that's the mayor, right? Isn't that Adams mayor? So the mayor said, well, at least I think that's what you're saying, that the mayor said, while these allegations are troubling, I will withhold further comment until the process reaches its final conclusion. So that's what the mayor said, child. But that's what
he's over there holding his breath, making sure he don't get wrapped up in this dude. I would be too.
Yes, if you're in federal custody, you can bail out if the judge sets bail. If the judge sets bail,
They
yeah.
have to give
I
you a
mean,
bail for an offense like this. They must give you a bail, and that is because this is a nonviolent offense, right? So they cannot keep you in jail forever. They have to give you a bail that is commensurate with keeping the community safe. Here, it's a nonviolent offense. So his bail could be, because he's already a felon, it might be 200K, it could be 100K, and then he likely has to, put up assets or and or cash. So they'll want both. They'll make him put up 10%, and then they're gonna make him put up collateral in the case that he absconds. The problem is all of his collateral is wrapped up in other lawsuits. So I anticipate he's going to sit there for a little while, y'all, because he's going to have to call somebody like Fat Joe to
right.
help him.
Yeah. See where his friends are now. Let's see where all his friends are now.
Fat Joe not about finna help that man.
Heck
Oh,
no.
and Bonnie O asked, could it also be considered extortion? It is. Great question. Yes. So the third charge, the charge regarding the businessman and that received the 5,000, and then Whitehead asked for 500,000. That one actually is an extortion charge, and that's because he basically threatened a man, saying he was not going to get his business deal concluded unless he gave Whitehead some money to help him get it done. And I feel very confident that Whitehead, when he did that, he probably didn't even know he was committing a crime, just because how much of a criminal mind that he has. And I have to say this with my criminal clients, it's not funny, but a lot of times when they're used to doing like real dirt, when they don't touch you, when they don't hurt you, when they haven't threatened to harm your kids or your mama, they're like, what? I can't do that. And you have to be like, no, you cannot walk up to somebody and say, hey, your multi-million-dollar business is in jeopardy and you may not be able to keep your kids in private school if you don't give me $500,000 to tell my homeboy to greenlight your contract. Like, that is not okay. They're like, get out of here, Miss Simone.
And that's what I really think is going on. Because for you to go from $5,000 to 500, for you to add a zero, you must have really thought you had something to put on the table.
Yes, there's an attorney here in Texas that I used to love. He's serving time now. I think he's serving like 16 years, because what he used to do is he would take Colombian drug dealers who did not want to be extradited to America. They had American cases, and he would go to them and he would get them to pay these crazy retainers. I'm talking 100,000, stuff like that, in exchange for he was telling them, hey, I know people, I can help you get your extradition case handled, no problem, blah, blah, blah. He was just saying that because in criminal law, you can't work on contingency fee. You have to charge them either hourly or flat rate. So he was just saying that, expecting to get the money. But in the end, what they got him for was extortion, because he was alleging that he had connections in the U.S. government, in the U.S. courts, that could get them lighter sentences. Same as Whitehead in the business context. That man got 16 years.
Well, y'all
he was
know.
a whole lawyer.
Yeah, 16. Wow. Well, y'all know we're gonna stay on top of this thing over here. We can wrap it up. I'm gonna let Simone go, and I gotta go because I'm back and get the wrap up from Pam about what happened down to the Tory Lanez today. But I think I may push that back to tomorrow, y'all, because I also have the whether you like it or not panel. I didn't anticipate this Bishop Whitehead thing popping off, honey. But I'm gonna talk to Pam and see if we can maybe do it tomorrow and roll both days into one. Child, ain't nothing happened today anyway. I already heard her recap. When I say nothing happened, it's not as explosive as it has been. I'll put it that way.
Gotcha. And I just wanted to add, someone had asked about, will he have electric monitoring if he does make bail, etc. Yeah, everybody gets electronic monitoring. That's the only way they can keep track of you. And what a lot of people don't realize with bail is they generally tell you can only go home and to your job. His job is his church. He does his job from home, so that means he won't be able to leave. You cannot go to Burger King.
So he's gonna be like the Chrisleys. He's gonna be on house arrest.
Yes, it's house arrest. People don't. That's
that
why
means he's gonna be going
so
live all day long.
Yes, He will be live all day long. So yes, you
All
guys
day
stay
long.
tuned.
Yeah.
And when y'all are
What about the
done
people
on
he
Really
was
BTV,
teaching
make sure
free?
you head over to Girl Is That Legal and hit that subscribe button. Thank y'all.
Oh
All
yes,
right,
please,
y'all.
please. Listen, it's 212 people in this room. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button on both sides. If you are not subscribed to Girl Is That Legal, the link has been dropped in the chat. Please make sure y'all head on over there. And if you're not subscribed on my side, y'all go hit that subscribe button here too. We will definitely be staying on top of this case. And like I said, I have the Tory Lanez, Pam, who is in LA, giving us the breakdown. I'm about to send her a message right now.
Oh,
So I'll let
yes.
y'all know if we coming back or not. But thank y'all so much. Mwah! And thank you again, Simone, for
Thank
being willing
you.
and ready. Like, girl, I'm available, honey. She was, I said, I
Oh,
know
yeah. I
that's
was like, let
right.
me talk about this man. All right. Y'all have a good night, y'all.
Yeah.
Good night. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night. I'm hitting the button.